All right.
All right, is this thing on?
It's on. Let's do it.
This is exciting.
This is fun.
Very exciting day.
Yep.
We are officially starting a podcast.
We are. Who are we?
Who are we? All right, let's introduce ourselves first. Okay. Also, let's talk about the audio thing real quick.
Yeah.
We've spent the last hour... Are we supposed to look at the camera or not? Let's look at each other.
You told me not to look at a camera.
All right. No looking at the camera. You know what? I'm addressing the audience right now, though, so I am going to look at the camera.
Okay.
And if you're listening on audio, then who cares about the camera? Yeah. But we spent the last hour trying to figure out our microphone situation.
Yeah.
We have 2 microphones. We were ready, but it turns out you can't record with 2 microphones on the same computer, so we need to order an audio interface, apparently.
Listen, I love that we're airing our...
dirty laundry
right off the gate.
Hey, this is a podcast.
We're not prepared, folks. That's the gist of it.
100%.
Not ready for this.
So we just want to say, audio this first week might not be amazing. We are going to order what we need, and next week it's going to be so much better. So
and just turn your volume up.
Yeah.
Don't
turn your volume up.
Full blast. Okay.
All right. So let's introduce ourselves. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I also want to say Chad's going to be laughing at this part because he suggested.
He did.
His biggest thing was have your audio on point.
100%.
And here we are. Okay. Anyway.
Who's Chad?
That would be my lovely husband. This is Jamie Erskine speaking. What do we want to know? What do we want to say?
Your kids.
I do have 2 children. They are 8 and 11, both girls. No, one's 12. She turned 12. Sorry.
Sorry, Allie.
40. And part of what I love is you're not, and you don't have kids. This is going to be the best. Austin and I work together at Theory. We have sister puppies, and we just enjoy chatting.
Yeah. How is Stella?
Stella, oh my gosh, do you know what's so funny? She has been doing this thing where in the middle of the night, she asks to go outside, which is new. She's not been doing that. Our older dog also, I think, is just getting old and has to go out. Well, the other day, Chad was like, what are they doing outside? He looked. He found her jumping on the trampoline.
Oh.
I kid you not. In the middle of the night, she is going out and playing on our trampoline.
No way.
Yes.
She's hopping up and down?
Playing,
she's
running on it. She's doing triple front tucks. I don't know. No, we just were cracking up because she's just out there by herself at 3 a.m. going on the trampoline.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'm going to find the recording. I'll find it. It's the Ring camera thing.
I would love to see that.
So. Yeah.
So their dog is Stella. Our dog is Stevie.
Yep.
Little story about Stevie. So we live close to Boeing Field in Seattle. So this weekend was Seafair. So it's the craziest bunch of stuff going on. One of the things is the Blue Angels fly overhead, which are these really cool. There's 4 planes that all fly in formation.
Okay.
Really loud.
Yeah.
For humans, it's incredibly loud. For dogs, it's next level. So I was on a walk with Stevie, I think Thursday or Friday, and we're walking, and I saw the first plane fly overhead. I'm like, oh, great. It's going to be so loud.
Yeah.
It was so loud, so pure, deafeningly loud.
Yeah.
Stevie was freaking out.
Oh,
and
no.
I feel like I was, channeling her anxiety because I started freaking out.
Yeah.
And I walk into, was like, okay, what do I do right now? Because there's going to be 3 more of these planes, and they're going to be so loud.
And you're out in the middle of nowhere? Where?
I was near her house. So I was in Georgetown.
Okay.
Thankfully, I was near a dog store. So a pet store. So I literally ran into the pet store, and I was very anxious. Stevie was anxious. And it was this incredible moment where the guy who was working at the pet store was so kind and just calmed Stevie down, honestly calmed me down and gave her treats. And it was
you treats.
I wish they were human treats, but I don't know. It was just this moment. I actually teared up a little bit when this was all happening. It made me emotional because I was so anxious, and it was just beautiful, this nice kind person, just this stranger totally made both me and Stevie feel better. So that was cool.
You go back, and he actually never worked there.
He was just a guardian angel. No, but yeah, that was kind
that's
of a
so
cool
cool.
moment. Yeah.
I love that. What was the store? Do you remember the name? We should shout people out.
We should 100%. It's whatever the little pet store is in Georgetown,
guys.
We should
we'll
tag him or something.
Angel,
yeah, he was a nice guy.
Employee there. Okay.
So I'm Austin Miller, 28. Don't have any kids, but I do have a dog, and we're different people. We're at different stages in life, which is one of the beauties of why we wanted to start this podcast.
Yeah.
So why don't we go into that later? Go into the actual reason behind the podcast and the plans and all that. But for now, let's start with the name of the podcast, which is How Was Your Weekend?
How was your weekend, Austin?
It was good. It was a good weekend. Tell
me about your Friday.
Friday night. Let's start there. So Friday was a busy day work-wise.
Yeah.
Overall, the weekend there was a good balance of productive, fun and relaxing. It was a good balanced weekend, which was great, which I'm always shooting for. Friday, went and checked on our house project. We are remodeling a house right now, which is fun. And it's smelled horrible in there because they just did all the drywall and the texturing and everything. Okay, so we could only be there for like 2 minutes without a mask, but it's looking great. It's coming along super quick.
So fun.
Did that and then went to Red Robin for dinner. Ended up having to write an offer at Red Robin. So
I love it. You had your computer with you? You just
I had my computer on me, and
classic
most of the
real
Red
estate
Robin,
agent move.
Yes, and thankfully got accepted. It's always frustrating when you are like in a social environment and you have to like step away to do something for work, and then it didn't really turn in. Especially an offer. Like if it doesn't get accepted, it's like, oh, that was a waste of time or whatever. But in this situation, it ended up getting accepted.
Good,
so,
congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you. So went to Red Robin with Brian, and then we went and saw the Barbie movie, which was great.
I saw it last week too. I loved it.
Yeah, exceeded my expectations for sure.
Same.
I really didn't have any expectations going into it, but I loved like all the social commentary and just like it was a great movie all around. So.
Yeah, Raising Girls, I was like, this is great. It's just, I feel like it was like girl empowerment. I know there's kind of some controversy and other things going around, but I loved it. I thought it was great.
I don't even know about the controversy.
Oh, I don't know. It maybe there was a message, but I don't even care. But to me, and also it was like aesthetically pleasing. Like I just thought it was so creative and fun, and I loved it.
It was amazing. All the Barbie houses and stuff. Like those all had to be built. Like those were all sets and stuff. So it was like the set design for this movie was incredible.
Yeah.
So that was my Friday. What did you do Friday night?
Oh gosh. Okay. So Friday, we're just going to be honest. We are in a season. It's good. We're in a healthy season. I'm like putting too much pressure to this. But Chad and I are talking to a counselor, and I actually love it. I feel like there is no shame in doing this. This was our third appointment with her, and she is phenomenal. We have both cried. Different times.
Good.
Actually, the third one we didn't cry. But it is, I was telling somebody how, to me, speaking with a counselor, therapist, whatever it is kind of like exercise to me. It's like painful, but so good.
Yeah.
And so that was great. That like just kind of started our weekend on a really good note. And then that night we went over to some friend's house. Allie had a little cheer camp thing Friday and Saturday. So we were kind of back and forth between the school and going to practice and going to barbecue. And then we ended the night over at a friend's house and just enjoying drinks on the deck, and, always a good way to end the week. So
that's awesome.
That was Friday.
It's a good Friday night.
Yeah.
So can I go back to the counseling thing real
quick?
Yes,
yeah.
So how did you find your therapist or counselor?
So I actually reached out to another friend and just said, hey, we've been married almost 14 years. Yeah. And we tend to get into these conversations, not arguments, but we just get into these things where we butt heads, and we're just like, somebody else needs to be a part of this. Yeah. Like we cannot hear each other. We are both stubborn. We're both the youngest. And I think that birth order tendency comes out. Right. And so, not to get super sappy or whatever, but we asked for referral. I read their bios, and this lady's name is Connie, and she just really hears us really, really well. Nice. And she's able to like, just kind of, I don't know, just not justify. I don't know. I just feel like she's able to really help us understand each other's perspective, and take away any shame, take away any anything. And the fact that we both cried, I think, is just so beautiful. Like she's just like, I welcome those tears, and it's just it's all via telehealth. Like it's on Zoom. Oh, cool. We're in our living room, but it's just been a really really good thing. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
I was thinking yesterday about relationships and just in general. And it's really when you're in a relationship with someone, you typically are in that because you have a lot of things in common. And you have, you have things that you love doing together, and you enjoy each other's company. But a big part of relationships too is that you're two totally different people with different perspectives, like you said, like different beliefs sometimes about certain things.
Absolutely.
And I've had some things recently with Brian where it's like we believe a lot of the same things for so many different areas of life, but there's certain things that we're just like, we kind of have different philosophies on. Yeah. And like I think that's okay. And like it's not, you don't have to morph into the same person. Like, for sure. You want to be able to kind of retain your individuality. Yeah. But yeah, I think just acknowledging that you have different perspectives and that you have like different ways of looking at things, like, it's fine. And that's great, honestly. Like that probably helps two people in a relationship like balance each other out and hold each other accountable and all that. So
I love that you think it's great because for us, that was not the case. But it's so true. It's oftentimes I feel like we're almost like attracted to, opposites attract.
Yeah.
But I do feel like sometimes that is the case. And then, but later on that those can be things that cause strife in relationships. Right. And so I love that you guys are able to have that perspective. Let's appreciate those differences.
Right. And that's not always the case.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's worth saying too, I think, so your husband, Chad, very similar to me. We're very similar
100%.
people in our habits, and just like if you take any of the personality tests, Myers-Briggs,
yes,
Enneagram, whatever, we're like the same person. So
very much,
which is interesting because like I'm similar to him. You're obviously different. If you look at the, I think the Myers-Briggs, you're like a ENFP,
correct,
and I think I'm an ISTJ. Yep. So it's like complete opposite on every single one.
Yes,
which is great. Like I love that we balance each other out in that way. So.
Do you know what Brian is?
I don't know. I should ask him.
Does it has Enneagram? Nothing. We don't know any of his personality traits.
I do. He's taken the Enneagram, and I'm like, I think he was a 2 or a 6.
Yeah.
But I'll need to look into that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, that was Friday. Let's keep going.
Okay, let's keep moving. Saturday. How was your Saturday?
Saturday was good. I had I woke up early. I like sleeping in on weekends typically, but I had an appointment at 11, and I needed it to get.
Excuse me.
Come on, Siri. We're doing a podcast.
So rude.
Here. I had to wake up at 5 on Saturday, which I do not love doing, but felt good to just wake up and get the day started. Did a long bike ride. I rode around Lake Washington.
Should we tell
Saturday.
people why you're doing that?
Probably, yeah. So I'm Ironman training right now.
Yes,
so I have on September 17th, so a little over a month, I'm doing a half Ironman triathlon, and it's a really intense training regimen. It's a lot. So it's Saturday. I had the 52-mile bike ride, and then
52 miles,
and then we'll get into Sunday in a second. So I started the bike ride in the morning. It was great. I rode all the way around Lake Washington, which was my first time doing that. Yeah. It was cool to just see all the different areas and everything. And then got home, had 4 tours of our house in Georgetown because we're trying to rent it out right now.
Okay.
It's been listed for a few weeks, and it was nice to actually have a few good tours this weekend.
Are you giving them the tours?
I'm giving them the tours.
Yeah.
So it's going well. Two of the people seemed really promising, nice. So hopefully one of them pans out.
Also, if you're looking for a rental,
I know. Self-promote our listings and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
All right. And then what do we do after that? So did house tours, and then spent most of the rest of the day like purging our closet. So part of this whole thing, we're remodeling our new house. We're renting out our current house, and we're starting to get ready to move. Yep. So we literally spent 4 or 5 hours just like going through every single thing we own in our closets and getting rid of probably 6 or 7 like trash bags full of stuff that we donated. And it was good to our closet feels much cleaner, and just like it's nice knowing. Actually, one of my takeaways from purging my closet is really nice knowing that everything in your closet you like.
Sure.
Because up until now, the last 6 months, I just kind of find myself wearing the same things every day or every week, because it's like I know there's my go-to things. But now it's like I've tried everything on, so I know that everything that's left in my closet are things I actually enjoy wearing. So hopefully I can start mixing up.
So therapeutic.
Yeah, it was good. And then I think that was it for Saturday.
Cool.
Yeah. How about you? How was your Saturday?
Okay. What was Saturday? So again, Alice was at cheer camp. So we were I think we drove to the campus like 5 times back and forth. We went to drop her off in the morning, and then just like you, I woke up at 8:30 and started my day with Chick-fil-A. So same. We are 2 peas in a pod, you and I. And then we really didn't have
Chick-fil-A breakfast.
Yeah.
I don't think I've had their breakfast.
Oh, okay. So shout out to Chick-fil-A. No, I'm just going to shout out everything we mentioned. They have these like breakfast bowls. It's like a scramble with like eggs and chicken and their little tater tots.
Nice.
It's super healthy and good for you, so it's great. That's kind of a Saturday tradition for us. And then we helped serve lunch for this cheer camp, which was kind of cute. And then went back to the school again because they did like a little showcase. And it's fun. As a mom, it's actually really fun to see your kid find something that they're really passionate about and that they love and are gifted and talented in. So it's been a really fun season to watch our oldest get into that. And then Saturday evening, we had some friends over for dinner, which, so you are currently in the remodeling process. Yeah. And Chad and I have come out of that season we remodeled a house for about 2 years and are finally settled and love hosting. So had people over Saturday night for dinner. We did like a barbecue and yeah, I love that. That to me is like my love language is having people over and just getting to connect and eat good food. And yeah, so that was
you have a
Saturday.
Great house for it.
It's okay. It's good.
Great view, good, lovely house.
Yeah, no, it's been so fun. Yeah.
All right, so got up through Saturday. Sunday, I slept in, which was great. I woke up around till like 8.
Okay.
It was better than 5.
Yeah.
I slept in. I had a few hours of work I needed to do in the morning just to like prep for the week.
Yep.
Usually like to do that on Friday, but my Friday was kind of packed, so I had about 2 hours of work stuff on Sunday, and then went from there, went to the gym, and kind of left from the gym and went on a long run. I did a 10-mile run on Sunday.
10-mile run?
10 miles.
Yeah,
and
same.
just to be clear, like not every day of training is like a 52-mile bike ride or a 10-mile run. It's specifically weekends or like the really long training days. So
what's your typical week? Like what's a weekday?
So I'm training 6 days a week right now, which is a lot. We're taking one rest day. During the week, it's like an hour to an hour and a half of training. So like this morning I did an hour bike ride. So not too bad.
Okay.
On the weekends, it's like 3 to 4 hours of training. So in total, it's like 15 hours a week of training, which I'm enjoying. I'm ready for it to be over. Like I'm ready for the Ironman to be done with and to be able to move on with my life.
Is this like, not to get too personal, but does Brian have any issues with you gone that's so much time?
He is much more independent than I am.
Okay.
So I like when I don't have anything to do, I really like, quality time together.
Right.
He really is totally good, like being by himself and like playing video games and stuff.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. So and maybe too different without having kids. I feel like if Chad was like, I'm going to be gone every weekend for 8 hours, I'd be like, no, what?
Yeah. And he also likes going to the gym too. So usually he'll be working out while I'm doing my stuff too. So, it works out.
Okay.
But, and then what did I do the rest of the day? It was honestly pretty chill. I kind of got home from I swam after my run. I went and swam for a little bit and then got groceries, came home and kind of just chilled the rest of the day. Yeah. Watched the new Beanie Baby movie, the Beanie Bubble.
I also have seen that.
It was good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I didn't hate it.
No, I didn't hate it. Glowing review. So that was Sunday.
It was no Barbie movie, but that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, no. How can you compare? And then went to bed early last night. It was great. So
good.
Yeah, solid weekend.
Okay. Sunday. So this is what we did. We had this event. It was Tacoma Rescue Mission put on. It was called a bougie
on a budget.
Bougie on a budget fashion show. I love that you know the name.
I know because they reached out to me and I'm like, it sounds amazing. I can't do it, but I'm glad you were able to represent.
So they opened up a thrift store on 6th Ave and they basically wanted to host a community event. They've been open for about a year and they invited people to come and participate. And basically we had these teams and your team would get given a theme. So the first theme was what not to wear to your in-laws when meeting the in-laws for the first time. And then you had 10 minutes to go inside the store, pick out an outfit, dress your model, and then send them down the runway. And there were judges, and then the crowd would, cheer and vote as well. And there were 4 rounds. And so there's a couple gals from Theory that came, and then my friend Shannon came with her kids. And so all of our kids were the models.
Nice.
And
awesome.
It was so fun.
Was there other kids doing the modeling too? Or
there were
adults
a few.
as well?
It was, mostly adults. Okay. But there were a few. Jessica from The Office, her daughter was in it.
Nice.
And it was just it's such a fun, we loved Tacoma Rescue Mission and it's such a cool store. And then just a fun event to get creative and get people to see, what they have to offer out there and stuff. So that was during the day, Sunday.
Real quick. So I mentioned I went through my closet and purged this weekend.
Yes.
I just dropped stuff off this morning at Mission Thrift.
Okay.
So look at that tie-in.
Well, there you go.
Shout out to Mission Thrift, Tacoma Rescue Mission. Mission Thrift's on 6th Ave.
Yep.
Great thrift store. You can donate your stuff. You can buy stuff there. It's great.
Yeah.
All the proceeds go towards the Tacoma Rescue Mission and the work that they're doing. So.
And I was like, actually, this is my first time visiting, even though they've been open for a bit. And I was blown away. They had so many different sections and it was all nice and clean and organized. I'll go after the fashion show. I think we kind of did some damage there. But no, it was great. And then that evening, we, each of our daughters had a friend over and we hosted a sleepover for them, which is always just kind of fun. I don't know. I grew up as pretty much like an only child. So having a sleepover, those were like such quintessential summer memories for me. So being able to be on the parenting side and host that is like just one of my favorite things.
That's awesome.
So,
are you enjoying summer overall?
I love summer. It's our first summer in our new house.
Yeah.
And it has just been so enjoyable. We have that little pool, and yeah, it's just been great. I love it. Awesome. I'm not ready for it to end, to be honest. But.
So I'll be vulnerable for a second
Let's
here too.
do it, okay?
That's what this podcast is about.
Listen, I'm here for it.
I am enjoying summer overall.
But
here's the thing. I feel life is crazy right now.
Yeah.
And I keep finding myself like ready to be through this season I'm in, which is kind of a weird place to be. So overall things are good. So let me just quickly highlight the things that are going on. So Ironman training is a lot. It's literally almost every single day. It's all consuming. The house remodel, I'm grateful I'm not doing the work myself.
Sure.
But I am pretty much every day doing something.
And
for
your
the
wallet's
remodel.
doing some work. That's stressful.
Wallets, yep, it's depleting every day. But yeah, every day I'm making design decisions, ordering stuff, starting to pack and all that. So that's a lot. Work is a lot right now. There's a lot just of like being, which is good, but I'm having to exert a lot of energy and time with work stuff too. And then just summer in general, like every single weekend, there's something happening. Yeah. Which is like all good stuff. So it's like, I don't want this to come across as complaining because I'm really not trying to complain, but I feel like I don't have a whole lot of margin in my life right now where there's not something going on. And I looked at my calendar yesterday, and my next day that I don't have anything scheduled is October 7th, like 2 months from now.
Wow.
Between now and then, I have something going on every single day, and that kind of overwhelms me and just like gives me a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
So where I'm at right now is I'm like, everything's good. Like I've chosen to do all these things. I'm choosing to do the Ironman. I'm choosing to do the house remodel. Like these are all things I don't have to do these things. Like I get to do these things, and I know that I should be enjoying the journey. I know that I should be having fun with it, and like I could literally like die tomorrow, and like I need to like make sure I'm actually being present in any given day. But I keep finding myself just like ready to be through this and have like some more free time in my schedule. Totally. So I'm trying to balance that of like just enjoying the summer because I love summer. I like all this stuff's great. I've fun events going on this next weekend. I'm going to Lake Chelan the weekend after that. Like there's so much good stuff happening. There's just no like free nothing time, which I feel like I need a little bit more of right now. I hear you. And I feel like it's so hard. I feel like there's so much pressure to be like, oh, be present in everything you're doing. And as a mom with my kids, I feel that side of things. Like I'm like, I need to make every moment special. And we only have 6 summers left with Alice before she goes to college. And so savor every moment. And I'm kind of like, it's a little bit too much for me, to be honest. And growing up, I feel like I have some positive memories from summer, but I also have positive memories from other parts of the year as well. I feel like it carries so much weight, maybe especially here in Washington because of the weather. Right. Everybody expects you to be out every day doing something. But I don't know. My encouragement is like to not, I feel like if you just tell yourself, I have to enjoy every second. I have to, like the reality is like, that's not sustainable. True. That's actually exhausting to be like, I am loving my life every moment. And that's like kind of undue pressure too.
Totally.
It's like, I feel guilty if I'm not like positive and super,
Do you know what Connie would say?
Who?
Connie, my therapist.
Okay, tell me what Connie would say.
What I love about her and what she's teaching us is that we tend to think of emotions as good and bad. Right. If you're feeling overwhelmed or if you're feeling sad or whatever, that's a bad thing. And she's like, that's actually not true. It is just sending you a message. It's just your emotions are sending a message. And so her encouragement is always kind of turn inwards. And so just to be aware of how you're feeling and not to let that guilt you or shame you, like not make it seem like, oh, I should be happy.
Interesting.
Because she's like, that's not necessarily the case. It's just a message that you're receiving. And probably for you, you're taking on a lot. And maybe if you can find a moment to just rest or to just give yourself, a break or say no to another commitment or something. Yeah. But I do love, because I think we often think, oh, if it's not positive, like happy, then it's a bad thing. And that's not what Connie says. And I trust Connie. So
that's true too. Like if you're happy all the time and if everything's always good, like that almost diminishes like how good those times are. So it's like, I think a little bit of sadness, a little bit of, the bad times make the good times better. That's kind of what I'm saying. So that's good. Good tip. Thanks, Connie.
Thanks, Connie.
Cool. Well, how far are we into this? Can't even tell. 24 minutes. All right. Should we talk about why we're starting a podcast?
Why are we here?
Why are we here?
What's going on?
All right. So I let me ask you a question. Have
Okay.
you thought about starting a podcast before?
I've been told I have a face for podcasting.
Not even true.
Okay, no, I just wanted to say that joke. Yes and no. I don't know. I feel like I don't necessarily have some expertise that I'm dying to share
Right.
with the world.
Yeah.
So I can't say it's been on my bucket list. But I'm here for it.
Right.
You?
That's good. No, I heard, I don't remember where I heard this recently, but they were talking about like specialists versus generalists.
Yeah.
And I think there's I think specialists are a lot of times like glorified and uplifted because it's like those people are put on a pedestal because, which I mean, they're rightly so a lot of the time, but
Yeah.
those people are like so good and so advanced at one thing
Right.
and like one skill or one area of expertise or whatever, and
Yeah.
those people are like the best in their field or whatever.
Yeah.
Which I've never felt that way. I've never
Right.
felt like there's one topic or one thing that I like excel at. I feel
Sure.
more like I can know a little bit about a lot of things, and
even that is a stretch for me. You know?
No, but like I don't find myself super passionate, I guess, about any one like area or thing or niche or whatever.
Yeah.
Like even with work, like we hire people that really specialize in certain things.
Right.
Like we hire accountants because they're really good at accounts. We
Yeah.
hire, marketing people because they're really creative, where I feel like I kind of can dabble in both areas without being like an expert in either area.
Yep.
So anyway, to go to your comment about not
being an
specializing and
expert.
not
Yeah.
being an expert, like
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
Right.
So all right, so the computer died.
Coming back from our first commercial break.
All the technical difficulties. Speaking of which, commercial break. If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, shoot us an email, message us on Instagram,
Listen,
whatever.
We're going places.
We are. So
I can tell.
already accepting sponsors.
Yep.
We'll,
Had multiple texts throughout this.
yes.
Okay. We were talking about why we're doing this.
Correct.
And how neither of us are really experts on anything.
Yeah. Which is, so as we were, let me rewind. So when I've thought about starting a podcast many times over the years, and every time I think about it, I like spend a couple hours like researching podcasts or like going down the podcast rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And every time I end up deciding not to do it because I'm like, I'm not an expert at anything, and there's so many podcasts out there. Like, does the world really need another podcast?
Yeah.
And I think I realized recently that that's not necessarily the right question to ask. Like, honestly, the world probably doesn't need another podcast, but like, what I should be asking is this something that I want to do? Is this something that's gonna be fulfilling for me personally? And if so, then I should start a podcast.
Honestly, to me, I'm like, this is a really like cathartic and creative expression. I like love it, and I hope that we just make people smile.
100%.
Maybe we'll share some local highlights or some sort of little nuggets of wisdom, but I don't. If people are expecting to come and get something huge, I don't know. Don't come to this. No. No, I love it. And I think I love the idea of you and I being such different personalities and just being able to kind of compare and contrast and learn from each other. Cause I love that we can bounce different ideas and different, perspectives off of each other. So
100%.
Yeah.
So as we were talking about like a theme for this podcast,
right.
I think we decided we see each other every week, and we always say, how was your weekend? And we talk about our weekends, and it's always fun hearing the differences in where we're at in life or like what we're doing on the weekend. So we decided to make that kind of the theme of the podcast, and then where we go from there, like it's really we'll kind of go with the wind, I guess, and see where it takes us.
Yes.
But we are not tied to any certain theme. Our goal or takeaway, our hope is that this is an enjoyable thing to listen to, that people can just end up smiling and maybe doing a little self-reflection as we're self-reflecting as well, and just take away just a little bit of enjoyment, a little bit of little mental break from everything else you have going on in your life. So,
100%.
Yeah.
Love it.
We talked about our weekends. We talked about why we're starting a podcast. Anything else you want to discuss?
I think this is a great first round. So
we'll always have our coffee every week.
Did you like the mug I picked out for you?
Hustle Juice, yes, and you got David.
Yes, Austin's mug is perfect for your personality.
You know what? I don't love the hustle culture though.
All right, here we go. Getting into next week. Next week
we'll talk about hustle culture. I used to be like big on the that was a big Gary Vee thing, which I think Gary Vee's great, but I think he's also like toned that down a little bit over time too. But there's this like hustle culture. You always gotta be grinding and going and going and going.
I absolutely hate it.
And I think a lot of people when they see my social media stuff, they probably think that that's how I feel, which I don't. I don't want to like hustle and grind 100% of the time. Like I really, and that's how I feel. Maybe that's why I'm feeling like not super content right now, just because there's so much happening that I feel like I'm not having non-hustle time, I guess. But yeah, we'll see. We're
gonna work through that.
We'll digest
on this podcast.
Digest and discuss that next week. And thanks everybody for listening. This is podcast number 1 of How Was Your Weekend?
Here we go, episode 1 in the books.
That's a wrap.
Okay.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks.